Good afternoon, guys and gals. This is my weekend video. I want to do my best to keep it at 15 minutes today. So we'll go through them real quick here. The white represents the open interest on the calls for this week expiration, and the red represents this week's open interest for the puts. And then the solid lines were volume that was put in, new volume put in Friday, and then the dotted lines represent the prior open interest. Okay, so basically we're coming into next week with a lot of open interest in the put side on SPY, deep in the money put open interest. Okay, but we don't see the main thing I want to take away here. Typically, what you see is a lot of open interest deep in the money on the call side on SPY. you know, so the call side open interest is down here. Okay, so basically, so see how that is right here. See, these are your deep in the money right here, and then that's your deep in the money put side. Okay, but this week the situation we got going on here, we got a lot more put uh, protection. Typically, what you see is more call open interest, in this uptrend. We're going into the week this week where we do have a lot of open put interest going into the week. So that's the main takeaway that I wanted to put out there. And then as of Friday, uh, they were putting in some big bets on the put side. You see these big bets on the strikes. So those are big bearish bets as of Friday. And then there was a buyer that came in that was buying some of the deep in the money calls. So my scan right here, I was looking for everything 60 delta and more into the money, and to clean up my scans and stuff. But from what I can tell, based on open interest, there's a lot of put activity going into the first of the week. So I just want to float that idea here. Some other things on the open interest, we came in with high Coca-Cola. We have earnings this week, I believe. A lot of the calls, $60 calls, have a lot of open interest here. So they're making some bullish bets here on Coca-Cola. Okay. Uh, Citi, some bullish bets on Citi this week. 55 calls. Okay. Deep in the money calls. So they got quite a bit of open interest here on Citi. They seem to be comfortable holding Citi going into this week. ExxonMobil, a lot of deep in the money call open interest for this week's expiration at the 70, deep in the money. So the fact that they didn't, at least from what we can tell, they haven't taken a lot of the open interest off. We're not really going to know till tomorrow, whenever the volumes all get updated and stuff. But it looks like they're still willing to risk on that one to the call side. Bristol Myers call side activity for this week. They were in the 6250s, deep in the money. So they had quite a bit of open interest in these 6250s post earnings, thinking we will possibly get a run up here in Bristol Myers. Okay. We've also got the 6250s on Citi. Pretty darn active for this week, 6250s. So, those are deep in the money. So, some, quite a few bullish bets here for Citi, thinking the banks might rally this week. Okay. Microsoft 300s. So we had a really good day on Microsoft Friday. So it does seem like they kind of like the Microsoft down here. So I do want to keep that one as a bullish scenario for this week as well. And then FXI, so that's your Chinese. Uh, so there is quite a bit of the 3750. So right at this area, quite a bit of open interest going into next week for China stocks. Okay. Now on the put side, open interest wise, uh, high yield bonds. Okay, high yield bonds are just getting decimated here. Okay, Hig. So this is a major support area here. If we lose that, corporate bonds or get runaway yields. So we have a very critical, very critical situation for corporate bonds to start our week here. Dangerous. The Fed might be losing control of these yields on the corporate bond market. So definitely that is in my opinion, the most dangerous situation going into the first of the week that the bonds might be catching uh, some danger signals here. So we had the 85, 95s, and 86s. So um, 85 puts, yeah, those are in the money. 85 in the money, the 95 and the 86 puts. They were holding these in large quantity, thinking as a hedge that the corporate bond market's going to continue to the downside here. Okay, definitely keep that one on watch. Okay. Also we got let's see here, Apple 175 puts. Apple's looking like a lot of times post earnings, they'll hold up Apple the current week of the earnings only to start selling them down the very next week. I've seen this many a times. So keep a definite, there's a lot of put activity in Apple going into this week. A lot of open interest at the 175 strike on that one. So we're right at 172. So right at the money right now here for the Apple puts. We got quite a bit of open interest in the 205 IWM puts. IWM 205s. So up here, quite a bit of open interest, thinking that we're not going to get back up into this range here on IWM. So somebody's got quite a bit of open interest on that. More of the Apple 180 puts, more HYG puts, open interest. NVIDIA, they got quite a bit of open interest on the 250 puts on NVIDIA. So somebody's willing to take some risk here that NVIDIA might be topping out here going into next week. Okay, definitely keep that one on watch. TLT puts also deals with yields. Okay, so TLT comes down. That means corporate. That means government bonds are coming down for higher yields. Okay, so definitely keep this one on watch going forward here. LQD, I have that one drawn out if I can get. LQD broke on the weekly here. As you can see, LQD, in my opinion, a major critical support area for LQD. We have broken a 200-day moving average on the weekly. We closed the week out below that 200-day moving average. Very serious possibility that this is a continuation, because based on my fib fans, this is not a very strong supported area. The supported area is much lower here, the 120, 60 area. If that happens, it's going to be quite bearish for the markets. Okay, that's not on my list on the open interest, but I do want to mention that one. Okay, more Microsoft 320 puts, more Apple 175 puts, more Q65 puts. So quite a bit of open interest on the tech. I don't know Q. I wrote the wrong number down. I'm sorry, but the Qs do have quite a bit of open interest. Now, as of Friday, uh, some things that did hit alert on high volume there Friday. ATM for this week. Archer Daniels Midland, the calls, 71 calls. So they're pretty bullish on Archer Daniel coming into this week. The 80 calls for ExxonMobil, they hit Friday, thinking we're going to have a continuation breakout right here. So they're thinking, you know, this could be a potential breakout scenario for ExxonMobil. We've also got the ExxonMobil puts as well. So they're firing both sides. Microsoft, seeing it on both sides, really high volume. BP, seeing the 32 calls. Okay, so they're thinking we're getting a breakout of the 200 on the weekly here for this week on BP. BP is going to be breaking out. We do have earnings this week, Tuesday. Earnings are Tuesday, so they're thinking BP is going to be breaking out above the 200 this week. Like I said, more city calls. It's 55. Okay, 55 deep in the money calls. XOP calls, more energies calls. They're still seeing the 109s are deep in the money here. It's 111, 109. So they're thinking that this is a breakout pattern. They are thinking that we are possibly breaking out the first of this week on energy. Okay, definitely keep that one on watch. Okay, and then we have some and that's mainly it. I mean, so basically some things going on here. So give me 1 second here. I got some other stuff to show you. Okay, guys, some warning signs that I got going on here. We dojied out on Dow Jones here into, so we've been trading on the very top of this trend line for some time now. Okay, and typically what I like looking for here, a possible breakdown, starting to break down that away from that trend line, is whenever you have a big red candle. Okay, uh, but possibly engulfing, but a big red candle potential. Okay, if I could see something like that, and what we had going on last week, we had a big red candle possibly here with a doji. That was the prior week with dojiing out last week. So that could be a reversal signal into this midline. We're going to be opening the week right on a possible midline rejection on our Dow Jones here, away from this upper trend channel for a reset back down to the lower end of the channel possibly. So definitely keep this one on watch. I'm looking bearish on the Dow Jones here, possibly setting up here, and that goes in line with the Apple puts that we're seeing. If Dow's going to go down, Apple's going to have to break down. So keep that one in watch. Okay, I know this is a real initial move signal here. This is our diamonds, okay? And basically, I got the on balance volume. This is a really good indicator to see your indices and stuff. So basically, the past week or so, we've had a very strong rebound in the Dow Jones. And remember, there's only 30 stocks, largely weighted by Apple and Boeing, uh, and United Healthcare. So those three, Apple, Boeing, United Healthcare. You got to keep an eye on those three names, okay? And so basically, they held up the Dow Jones fairly well last week based on that information. So I do want to point out we might have initial sell signal down here. I had the 20, 50, and the money uh, uh, on balance volume indicator. Okay, and anytime we start crossing on our 20 below that on balance, I start getting a little paying attention here. See how last time we crossed it, shoo, and we're putting in the lower low here, or a lower high. Okay, so we haven't confirmed, especially on a weekly time frame, we're not really. Maybe you are. I mean, a higher low on the weekly time frame, but I definitely want to keep this one on watch if my thesis of a weak Dow this week does come to fruition. Okay. Uh, okay, the Qs. Okay, some things I'm looking at right here. So we do have a bearish cross of the 50 versus the 21, showing some relative weakness here. Okay. We're not really getting much of a lift on the on balance volume here, so keep that one on watch as well. Okay, down at the bottom. Okay, so like if you zoom in here for the past week, it's come down, but we're not getting a lift. There's not new money. There's not much. There's not new money coming into this. It's not the Dow came back up on our unbalanced volume. There was money actually trying to support the Dow last week. Well, the not really getting a lot of participation in the up move here in the Qs. So this is a warning sign to me going into this week. Okay. Let's go SPY first. SPY. So we had a real nice unbalanced volume. Volume came in for this. So we did have volume coming in to support this. What do I know here? What can I see here? Okay, we zoomed in here. Okay. And so basically what we got going on here, we were almost completely flat here, SPY, going into the close. So, you know, really dangerous situation. You don't know where it's downtrending. And we closed the week within a downtrend with no signal that the downtrend has changed for SPY, in my opinion. Okay, and if anything, if we come down at all, then our signal line is going to be crossing below our 50. Okay, the 20 below our 50, that's our bearish signal, confirmed bearish signal. Okay, so I don't know what's going to happen next week. I mean, I just want to keep these ideas. I mean, we have had a bounce. It's not a great bounce here in SPY on our on balance volume. Okay, we had a nice little short squeeze. Okay, so basically, when these moving averages just flew up, that was a short squeeze that happened here on our SPY. Since then, we've moderated, and we're trying to digest the move here and see where we want to take price from here. So I do want to point that out. You can clearly tell that the big move there was a short squeeze, and we have not proven that new participants want to come in the market. Okay, so more on the bullish front now after I've done my research. So we'll just keep an eye on this. I don't know if it's bullish or not. I mean, they were coming in and buying Citigroup. They got a nice open interest here on Citigroup this week. So, but versus my unbalanced indicators, this is the worst, believe it or not. So, and I'm really bearish on the IWM. Okay, so just keep that in mind going forward here. We got a short squeeze, not near the short squeeze we saw on SPY or the diamonds. Okay, so we got a slight short squeeze in IWM. It did not retrace near as strong as what we saw in the other indices. Okay, and we are getting bearish crosses here below our on balance volume. Okay, so basically, let's say last time we crossed down was right here, and then we put lower lows in. Okay, last time I crossed here. Okay, the signal line, that's your 21. Okay, the next day we put lower lows in. Okay, you know technically we haven't crossed yet. So, if this holds true, with that signal being that way, Monday or Tuesday, we should be putting in lower lows than what we did here. Okay, based on the pattern that I'm seeing here with the using the moving averages with the on balance volume. Okay, so I do want to keep that in the back of your mind going forward here. I don't want to be over bearish, but basically our signal lines are in a downtrend, of course, and uh, nothing here screams to me that they're going to come in here and buy this up first part of the week. I just don't see it happening. That I think a lot of investors, that's why we got that end of day dump. There's still a lot of sell programs out there. And anytime you see that last 10, 15-minute dump in the market, that tells you that there's big orders out there trying to liquidate. They're trapped, okay? And it's not a good sign for the overall market, okay? So please like the video. Please, on retweet it on Twitter. My handle is Gumby9662C on Twitter. Follow me. Please follow me. And you can make comments at the bottom of the video if you want, or you can, tweet them to me in Twitter if you want. Appreciate all the feedback. If you guys are seeing something that I'm not seeing, please let me know. Okay. And but basically, I'm still leaning more to the bearish side until proven otherwise. The only fly in the ointment, we did get a short squeeze in Bitcoin, and that tends to be a little bit more risk on, you know. But just because we got a short squeeze in Bitcoin, risk on indicator on a Friday in this very illiquid market, I'm not going to put a lot of credence into that. I just don't trust Bitcoin as a major indicator. Okay, I'd much rather the broader markets, and the idea that Apple has got a lot of put out volume for this week. That's something that I think is a major tell.